Right, grade fours. So today I'm going to show you multiplication with regrouping in the ones, tens, hundreds, and units. So it's very similar to what we did last without regrouping. That means the answers are not going to carry over. So let me just show you an example of one that wouldn't carry over. Maybe I'll do it here, 12 times 3. So 12 times 3 technically is one that we should know off by heart because it's the normal 12 times or the 3 times table. But if we do it the vertical method, remember this is the vertical method because everything goes down in a vertical pattern. So you would go 2 times 3 is 6. Write your 6. And then 1 times 3 is 3. So the answer is 36. But with today's work, you can go through these pages on your own again later. But here we are going to carry a 10. Because let's look. 13 times with 4. That means we will have 13 4 times. But we're breaking up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tens. And we've got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is the number 13, if you can see. This is the number 13, 13, 13, 13, because it's 4 times. But we broke it up in a 10 and a 3. Okay. So what's going to happen? You're going to multiply the ones by 4, right? So we're going to multiply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh dear. So how would I write 12? I mean, there's no space. Otherwise, the sum will look crazy. But because we've got 12 ones, we are basically regrouping the ones. So we're taking the number 12 and we're breaking it up into a 10 and a 2. So that's why the 2 is going to be left over. But what happened to that 1 from the 12? I mean, we can't just throw it away. So the 1 gets carried over to use later. So we're regrouping. So we're taking the 10 and we're just taking it to the 10 side, which means that here's an extra 10. So instead of having 4 tens, which is 40 at the end of the day, we will now have an extra 10 because we regrouped it. We had the number 12, but we can only use the number 2 in the ones column. We can't write a 12 there. That will never work. There should only be one number. Therefore, we're giving the 10 over, and this answer is now 50. But if you see how we will do it, apart from the fact that we know it's 50, but how will we do it the long way? So first of all, we did 3 times 4 is 12, but we used the 2 in the ones because the 2 is a 1, and then the 10 we carried over to the tens column, okay? And then we said 4 times 1 is 4. But how did we get to an answer of 5? Oh, because remember we said here, 40, but because we gave the 10 over, it became a 50. So 4 times 1 is 4, that's correct, but we must add that 1 in the tens column, okay? And that's how we get 50. I'm going to show it to you again on this piece of paper. Let's first do plus and minus. For example, if I say 19 plus 12, just for interest's sake. 9 plus 2 is 11. See, it's the same thing. We put the 1 there. We can't put the whole 11 there because then there will be too many numbers at the end of the day. So we know that the 1 from the 11 stays behind, but the other one gets carried over. And then we add 1 plus 1 is 2 plus another 1 is a 3. Okay? Or I can do another sum, plussing. Let's take 23 plus 39. Okay, so let's see what happens here. 3 plus 9 is 12. We know 9 plus 3 equals 12. We've known that for a long time. Okay, but that means it's a 10 and a 2 if we're breaking up into tens and units. If I put my tens there and my units there, then I know. But I can't put the whole number 12 there. I only put the unit part there, and the 10 gets carried over. But I don't throw it away. So 3 plus 2 is 5, and I must add that other 10 because it carried over to the next side. And that is why the answer is 62. So now I'm going to do it again with the multiplication now. 13 times 4. And I'm going to take a color here to show you that this is still my tens column. Right. Close that. Oopsie, it's a bit smudgy. And then a unit. Perfect. So don't forget your tens and your units column. That's why you must also write neatly underneath each other. 3 times 4, that is 12. We know that 3 times 4 is 12. Same as here. 9 plus 3 is 12. But we know that the 10 is a 10 and the 2 is a unit. So we can only put units in units column. So the 2 goes there. Ta-da! But what about my 10? That 1 gets carried over to the 10 side. But remember, we're still busy with a multiplication sum. So first we have to say 4 times 1 is 1, and then we plus that 1. We don't times it again, unfortunately, because we're adding it, because this 10 technically belongs to that 10. So we can't times again, we have to plus it. And therefore the answer is 5. Just like we saw here on page 122. We are regrouping. Okay, I'm going to do this one. Multiply 56 by 2. You can look at the regrouping on your own, and then I'm going to just do the sum for you here. Okay, so let me write 56 times 2. And remember, this is still a 10. And this is still a unit. We don't mix them. Great, let's start. 6 times 2 is 12. Oh, again 12. So you put the 2 there and you carry the 1 over. Perfect. Next step. 2 times 5 is 10, but we must plus that 1 because we brought it over. And that makes 11. And that means our answer is 112. That's pretty cool, ne? So, when you carry on, you can go through some of these examples again on your own. I might do another one for us. I'm not going to do this one. You can just try this one on your own. And then you're going to do the guided practice for me on page 124. I will also send the photo if you don't have the pupils book. Then the next part is basically page 125. You can also go through that. Okay, I'm going to do maybe one of these sums still for you. Then you can also go, it continues on page 126 and also on page 127. So there's more examples for you to look at on your own. Don't do the hands-on activity. And then you are going to finally do the guided practice on page 128, and then also some pages and the workbook. So these ones you can do. If you don't have this book, you can take the photo that I sent you and just do it in your writing book. So you just have to rewrite everything. And for you that have the book, remember you can still use a separate piece of paper. For these sums, they will be fine. If you write neatly and carry over neatly, then it should work. But like this one that is horizontally, you might have to rewrite it vertically for yourself like this to get the answers, etc., etc. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. So I'm going to do one more sum for you. Yes, this one. Let's do this one. 223 times 5. This one is now in the hundreds. 223 times 5. And don't get scared if it's in the hundreds because, whoopsie, this thing is leaking a bit. Nothing has changed. You're only getting an extra digit. So that is my units. And then the last one, let's do that in orange. That will be the hundreds. So remember, if I'm breaking this up, basically the number 223 gets timed with 5. But if I break it up, that means the number 200 gets timed with 5. The number 20 gets times with 5, as well as the number 3 gets times with 5. So all of those numbers, 223 gets times with 5. So this is doing it in the long way. Okay, so 200 times 5 we know is 1,000. 20 times 5 is 100. 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, I'm just going to leave that there. So let's do it here. First things first, the units. So 5 is the number that all of them gets times with. 5 times 3 is 15. So make your 5 and carry the 1. Cool. Step 1 done, units. Now we move to the tens. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus another 1 is 11. Okay, that's the answer. So you put the 1 there and you carry the other one for 11. And then the last part is the hundreds. 5 times 2 again is 10 again. And add the 1 again, it's 11. But because this is the last one, we can write the whole 11 out because there's no thousands to carry over. And it says the answer is 1,115. But if I look here, that's exactly the same. The answer is also 1,115. So this is the long way, breaking up each one. But this way is so much more fun and it's not difficult. The only place a person can make a mistake is if you don't know your timetables and also if you forget to carry and add. But if you're just going to write 15 and you're just going to go 5 times 2 is 10 and you forget to add that 1, then your sum will be wrong. But you can always check it yourself. Okay, I know the video is getting long, but I just want to do one more sum. Let me just take random numbers. 3, 1, 5 times 3 again. Okay, so this is your tens, your hundreds, tens, and units. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 1 is 4, but plus that 1, which is a 5, okay? And then 3 times 3 is 9. See? It's not that difficult, 955. And I'm sure if you're going to break it up into, let's see, units is 5 times 3. This one will be 900. This one will be 30. Just hold on. I think I made a mistake somewhere. Okay. Let me just quickly do it over. Just hold on. Just made a tiny little mistake. 3 times 1 is 3 plus that. That must be a 4. Do not know what I did there. But in any case, 10 times 3 is 30, and that is 15. See, if you're not concentrating, you can make a silly mistake. Because I know 3 times 1 is 3, and I added 1, and I got a 5 and not a 4. Whoopsie. Focus for that. So it's 900. 30 plus 15 is 45, so the answer is also 945. Okay, so that's what you're going to do now. But if you get stuck, I will show you again and make other videos for you.